We are surface creatures. Every city we built, every war we fought, every person we ever loved, all of it happened on a thin, sunlit film at the very top of the world. But the most important things, the largest things, the oldest things, they do not happen on the surface. From space, our planet is blue. Not because of the land, not because of the sky, but because nearly 3/4 of it is water. And the part of that water we actually know, the warm, bright, breathing part, is almost nothing. A few hundred meters. A skin. Below that thin, bright skin begins the single largest living space in the known universe. The ocean's average depth is nearly 4 kilometers. Drop the tallest mountains on Earth into it, and they would vanish without a trace. We have mapped the whole of the night sky. We have named the moons of distant planets and charted craters we will never visit. And yet, more than 80% of our own ocean has never been mapped, never seen, never touched by a single ray of light. A child stands at the edge of the water and looks out. The sea gives nothing back. What is down there? The honest answer, even now, is that we mostly do not know. Go down is to leave behind everything that makes us human. Warmth, light, air, and finally even time itself. This is a story about the deep. Not the shore, not the surface, the deep. So take a breath. And let's go down. The first 200 meters is the sunlight zone. Bright, blue, and full of the life we think we know. Then, as you sink past it, the color begins to drain away. Red vanishes first, then orange, then yellow. By now you have entered the twilight zone, a permanent blue dusk that stretches around the entire planet. Here live creatures with enormous eyes, evolved to catch the very last of the light. And then, around 1,000 meters, the sun finally gives up. Total, absolute darkness begins. This is the midnight zone. It does not end at night. It never ends, and it is most of the ocean. The cold here is constant, just above freezing, and it has been the same for longer than there have been humans. The pressure builds. Every 10 meters you descend, another atmosphere presses in on all sides. Picture the ocean in layers. Sunlight, twilight, midnight, the abyss, and below even that, the trenches. At 4,000 meters lies the abyssal plain. Flat, soft, silent, the true floor of the world. It is the largest single habitat on Earth, and almost none of it has ever been seen by human eyes. And still the floor falls away beneath you, down into the trenches, the deepest wounds in the planet's crust. The deepest is Challenger Deep, in the Mariana Trench, nearly 11 kilometers straight down. The pressure down there is over 1,000 times the surface, the weight of a small mountain on every hand's width of skin. For most of human history, more people had walked on the surface of the moon than had ever reached the bottom of that trench. For a long time, we assumed the deep was empty, a cold black desert. We could not have been more wrong. The deep is alive, and in a world with no sun, most of that life makes its own light. Biologists believe that glowing in the dark may be the most common form of communication on the entire planet. A single point of light glows in the black. An anglerfish waits behind it, patient as stone. Flashes of blue ripple through the dark. Alarms, traps, and mating calls, in a language we are only beginning to read. Somewhere in that dark drifts the giant squid, eyes the size of dinner plates. Not a legend, real. And when one of the ocean's giants dies, it sinks. A single whale fall can feed an entire world for decades. From one body, hundreds of species rise out of the darkness to live. A whole community born from an ending. Then, in 1977, explorers found something at the bottom that broke every rule we had. Hydrothermal vents, cracks in the seafloor pouring out scalding, mineral-rich water from inside the earth. And around them, life flourishes with no sunlight at all, feeding on chemistry itself, on the heat of the planet. It suggested something staggering, that life on Earth itself may have first begun down here, not beneath the open sky, not in the sun, but here, in the cold, in the dark, at the very bottom. But for everything we have found, our ignorance is still the real headline. We have sharper maps of the surface of Mars and the Moon than we do of our own ocean floor. Most of the deep ocean has never been observed by human eyes or by any machine we have sent down. Scientists believe that most of the species living down there have never even been named. Almost every deep expedition returns with something no human being has ever seen before. In 1997, instruments caught a sound louder than any animal we know and named it the bloop. For years it was a mystery. It was finally traced not to a creature, but to the cracking of distant ice. And yet, the ocean is still full of sounds we genuinely cannot explain. Vast, slow, low sounds, traveling thousands of kilometers through the black before they fade. Sometimes, at the very edge of the light, something simply moves, too far, too dim to ever name. We send robots down now, lights blazing into the void, and the dark simply swallows them whole. Every answer we pull up only opens a deeper question. That is the true nature of the deep. We are, in the most literal sense, explorers of an alien world, hidden on our own planet. And this hidden world is not separate from us. In every way that matters, it is keeping us alive. The ocean breathes, pulling our carbon and our heat down into the dark, and quietly buying us time. Currents born in the freezing deep carry warmth around the entire planet, like blood through a body. The deep is the planet's slow, patient heart. We just never learned to hear it beating. We are already changing it, before we have even properly met it. Warming water. A piece of plastic resting in the deepest trench on Earth. Our noise drowning out sounds we never understood. We are losing pages from a book we never even learned how to read. The child is still standing on the shore, still looking out at the dark water. Everything that matters most is just out of sight, under the surface, in the cold, in the dark. The deep does not need us, but we have always, quietly, needed it. Stories buried deep. This has been Fathom Files. Look down and keep looking. Thanks for watching Fathom Files. Most of the living space on our entire planet lies down there, in the cold and the dark, and we have laid eyes on almost none of it. The deep ocean is still the greatest unexplored frontier on Earth, closer than any star, and yet almost completely unknown. If this descent into the deep stayed with you, subscribe and keep looking down. Because the most important things, the largest things, the oldest things, never happen on the surface.